Morning, Patriots. It's me again, Shannon Fox here, the Voted Patriots 2 channel. Just drinking the coffee, drinking the mud in the morning. Trying to wake myself up and get ready to go to work again. It's Monday all over again. Seems like we just did this not too long ago. These weeks are flying by. And that's okay for me because that means the sooner midterms is coming. Now, there's a lot of news going on, more than anything on Monday morning, as usual, a whole lot of speculation. And I'll go ahead and get into a little bit of the speculation this morning. And I will have to word salad a little this up because Trump just speaks his mind, and so I cannot say everything he wants to say. So let me go ahead and salad it up for you this morning. It says, Trump says, since the beginning, I have felt that this thing was burglarized. And not just from the beginning, but even now, and his beliefs have only gotten stronger about the burglary. And he totally destroys the Unselect Committee with his conversation over here, and I will leave you a link to the description of the article below if you want to get into that. But I also did see that Associated Press and a few of the Democratic stronghold lying news networks, a few of them are starting to say that it looks like the Democrats are starting to pick up pace because they'll be winning in the midterms. Now, I can't imagine somebody saying that out loud. Maybe they're got a plan that we don't know about. Who really knows? But it's definitely weird that they throw that out there, knowing how unpopular they are. It's not even a good lie. Now, let me see here. There was a little more I wanted to get into about the Trump. Here we go. Trump congratulates CNN for no longer using the term the big lie. And that's a big step. What happened was CNN, here in the last several weeks, has acquired a new boss over there. And he's not a fan of Trump, no doubt about it. But at the same time, he's tired of the narratives that's killing the business over there. Says major changes are going on at CNN, and hopefully Brian Stelter will be the first to go as their ratings tank. The new CNN boss, Chris Licht, has now reportedly told CNN anchors to stop using the term the big lie to describe what happened in 2020. Licht pointed out that this line is the same used one by all Democrats. The boss still claims that what Trump says about what happened is a lie, but at the same time, he's reportedly nudged producers to avoid describing former President Trump's claims as the big lie. A move that comes out as top brass drives a shift towards neutral news, coverage. Licht took over the CNN president earlier this year and is driving an overhaul of the left-leaning network, revealing his preference during a conference call with show executive producers and management on Tuesday and media reporters. The CNN president suggested it shows that instead to refer to Trump's disproven claims as Trump's selection lie or election lies. Licht asserted that using the phrase the big lie essentially parroted the Democratic Party branding, and it hurts CNN's objectivity when it comes to covering the topic. President Trump responded by congratulating CNN, saying it's a huge step for these guys. Big news, fake news. CNN just announced it was no longer going to use the phrase the big lie, and Trump is happy about it. They're having to walk it back, maybe because of all the things that are headed in a different direction, which proves that they're the big liars. Now let me go ahead and get into something else here. I just thought that was pretty interesting this morning. Let me read you a couple more quick articles this morning. Let me see what I got here on the gateway. I'm going to read them with you. It says, retiring Never-Trumper Fred Upton. It will be hard for a uniparty to stop Trump in 2024. He will be the candidate. And there is no doubt about it. The writing is on the wall. Let me see here. I got a little video with this one. We'll go ahead and throw that one in here real quick this morning if I can get it to pop up. Hopefully they won't say too much about selection fudge. let's go ahead and get started.
One thing that I don't want to negotiate away,
Matt Gaetz.
Our Second Amendment. And in the Capitol today, the Second Amendment has been under attack. Breaking news just now, just before we stepped into this discussion, the House of Representatives has passed a national red flag law. Every Democrat voted for that national red flag law, and they were joined by Republicans Brian Fitzpatrick of Pennsylvania, Anthony Gonzalez of Ohio, Adam Kinzinger of Illinois, and Fred Upton from Michigan. So an interesting group of 5 Republicans supporting these red flag laws, 4 people who voted for impeachment, and 1 who, after his opposition to the Second Amendment was expressed, dropped out of his own re-election in the Buffalo, New York area. So when they send Republicans to take away our Second Amendment rights, they aren't exactly sending their best, and they are sending a few of them, but it is important to note that there is an anti-gun element of the Republican Party supporting red flag laws, and we don't want to see members of the United States Senate joining them. I made that point on the floor of the House moments ago. Take a listen. If House Democrats were so worried about violence, they wouldn't open the borders, open the prisons, and then disarm law-abiding Americans who want to protect themselves and protect their families. Chairman Nadler says that Republicans shouldn't lecture about constitutional rights, but it was the last Democrat speaker, Mr. Cicilline, who in the House Judiciary Committee said, "Spare me the bullshit about people's constitutional rights." So pardon us for standing up for the Constitution and the very due process that ensures that we're able to have a civil, functioning society in this country. Speaker Pelosi asks the question, well, if you knew when the next act of violence would be, why wouldn't you want to stop it? What is this, the United States Congress or the plot for the movie Minority Report? The best you could ever hope to have in terms of warning is what we had in the Parkland case, where a neighbor saw Nicholas Cruz preparing for a school shooting, called the FBI, and because they were so focused on the bureaucracy, they didn't take action. And so that's why I'm against federalizing the regular police, and it's why I'm against federalizing the school police, because the more the FBI was involved, the more they botched the case, and maybe there were people dead.
Anybody that wants to get the full article, full interview, it'll be over here on the Gateway Funding. It's actually kind of long. It's about 5 minutes long, but you get the gist of it. Matt Gaetz is calling him out about what's really going on. He definitely has got some issues with the way the red flag laws are unconstitutional, and we've got rhinos trying to push it through. It looks like there's going to need to be 10 of them to get it done. Right now they are not there, but they are close, and hopefully that won't work because it is unconstitutional. Now, this Never Trump or Fred Upton, he did say, no doubt about it, on the State of the Union address from CNN, State of the Union address. He said it will be hard to beat Trump. He said you won't be able to stop him. The momentum is already there, and Joe Biden has no momentum. And like I said, there's a video about it over here you're welcome to check out as well. Just confirms the fact that everybody is starting to say the writing's on the wall. Joe Biden's looking bad, and no matter what happens, looks like Trump will be back. And he'll be back with a vengeance to take back everything. Now, I seen on Newsmax earlier today on the ticker at the bottom, said Trump endorsed several more people, including Bernie Jones. We got Georgia races going on at the moment. But he did say he was going to endorse Kevin McCarthy, which I think he doesn't really have a whole lot of choice in that matter. But he also said that I'm voting for Kevin McCarthy, but I'm not voting for him for Speaker of the House. Great news. Great news. That just lets us know that we got somebody better, and he got somebody better in mind for that. I'm hoping for Jim Jordan, folks, or Trump himself. That would be awesome for Trump to come in there and be Speaker of the House and clean house before time to take over his job in 2024. That's what a lot of us have hoped for, and Trump has walked around it, discussed it a little bit. But the closer it gets to midterms, the more he's discussing his throwing his hat in the ring. Now, let's go ahead and listen to, or let's go ahead and get into this. Pretty disgusting, but I'm glad it's getting exposed. It says Google worker fired for blowing the whistle on spiritual organization within the company that has been accused of sex trafficking. Google's fired one of its employees on a doomsday cult-like spiritual organization within the for blowing the whistle on a doomsday cult-like spiritual organization within the company. The employees, Kevin Lloyd, a video producer who worked on the Google Developer Studio, is now suing the tech giant, claims that he was unfairly fired in retaliation after he raised alarm about a religious group. Lloyd warns the group was called Fellowship of Friends and has increasingly gained power in the company by hiring members of its cult-like organization to fill key positions. That's why these big tech companies are so wackadoodle wokester crazy. They're hiring right out the cults. Wouldn't surprise me none. That's basically what they want working for them anyway. These zealots, these one brain people, these people that only got one way of thinking. It says members of the Fellowship of Friends believe they are called to create a new civilization founded by a doomsday event and implores its followers to attain enlightenment, to transcend to a state of waking sleep state. The group, which has approximately 1,500 members internationally, also believes enlightening is attained by embracing arts, including ballets, paintings, operas, and wine. Friends of Fellowship. Oh, I get it. It's a party house. The alleged cult-like organization, which collects 10% of its members' income, was founded in 1970 by Robert Earl Burton, who has been sued for sexually assaulting male members of the group. Oh boy, one of them type groups. Their suits don't give it away. Nothing does. Wow. Once you become aware of this, you become responsible, Kevin Lloyd told the New York Times while recounting the decision to sound off the alarm of the group's infiltration into Google. You can't just look away, he said. He said in his lawsuit it was filled in by California Superior Court in Silicon Valley. Lloyd claims Peter Leberth, director of Google Developer Studio and a member of the Fellowship of the Friends, is funneling money from Google to enrich the religious organization that was wrongfully terminated for informing his supervisors about the issues. Mr. Livers gained status and praise relative to the increase of money flowing to the fellowship through his efforts at Google to put and keep other fellow members directly or indirectly on Google's payroll, the complaint states. The complaint also alleges Livers and 12 members of the non-denominational religious group work at Google are using their position to line up work for its members within the company. I see what's going on. Livers confirmed that he is still a member of the sect and contends recruiting other Fellowship of Friends members for jobs at Google presents no conflict of interest. He says, my personal religious beliefs are deeply held private matter, Livers told the Times. In all my years in tech, they've never played a role in hiring. I have also performed my role in bringing in the right talent for the situation, bringing the right vendors for the job. Sounds like a bunch of wackos having some kind of wine parties. Fellowship of Friends has a long history of sex trafficking. Oh, there it is. Burton allegedly engages in bizarre sexual rituals, orders pregnant women to have abortions, preys on young males, and has slept with hundreds of people per day during Young Love Fest. Now, there's a little more to the story, but that's enough for me. It's a little bit too early for this stuff, because there was a lawsuit filed by a former member, Troy Busby, who alleged Burton sexually exploited him when he was 17 years old, according to Brown's report. In the 1990s, Burton sexually assaulted Troy's father, Richard Busby, says Brown in the podcast. Richard then told friends and family about the abuse and family members who were allegedly similar experiences. The suit was settled up out of court, and in 2005, Brown reported that U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement investigated a tip that the fellowship was bringing on non-U.S. citizens into the country and paying for them for their religious visas, intending on them to be recruits of sexual servitude to Burton in 2012. Brown learned from a federal document obtained in the Freedom of Information Act request. The Drug Enforcement Agency, along with ICE, raided the Apollo compound, calling it a search of evidence for drug possession and drug production, but nothing came of it. Lloyd is demanding a jury trial, financial compensation for religious discrimination, wrongful termination, and retaliation related to this action. It looks like there's a reason Google censors people for not liking their opinion or their political views. It's because they're a cult. They've got a bunch of nutbags over there working for them that they like to hire because they're obviously sexually twisted and so influenceable. Now, this stuff needs to be exposed more and more every day. We need to bring this stuff to light. I know these are some sick stories that I bring you sometimes about this trans confusionism, this indoctrination of the children, and all these woke companies just going the wrong direction with the perversion. All this stuff needs to be brought to light. And I hate to bring this stuff to you, but at the same time, I want everybody to know what's really going on behind the scenes. When you got a company like Google that treats people like they're better, the company treats people like they're the oligarchs that are better than the American society of human beings that like to get on their platforms and go through their feeds and stuff. It's pretty disgusting that Google is playing any part in this sexual crazy cult crap, but it doesn't surprise me considering the way they treat everyday Americans with their censorship, with their trying to cover up the truth, and the way they just handle their business. Doesn't surprise me. Anytime you've got an organization like Google, YouTube, Facebook, any of these mainstream media outlets, they all got a bunch of creepos and liars and pedos and cult members and sodomites working for them as a rule. And I don't know why that is, but it just seems to be the case. All these lefties are exposing themselves as what they really are, a bunch of brainwashed idiots. And that's all I really got to say about that. I just figured I'd bring y'all those couple of articles this morning. And I'll leave you links in the descriptions down below to these articles so you can actually get to the full gist of it. And I got one more thing to say. For anybody that was offended by the video I put out yesterday of Biden getting hit in the head by a golf ball from a Trump swing at the golf course, Trump shared that video, that meme, and I thought it was hilarious. And I think most of my listeners thought it was funny too. But I had some people in the comment section say things like, "Too bad it wasn't in front of a moving bus," or "Too bad it wasn't," or "Should I suggest him going to San Francisco downhill? That way when he falls, he lands in the crack pipe, the feces, and the busted needles." I heard some really, really discouraging comments yesterday after I put that little short video out. I don't like Biden no more than the rest of you, but I do not wish harm on any of these folks, even as twisted and demented as they are. So let's be nice in the comment section. I know it's not easy at times the way we're feeling about this whole way this country's being run at the moment, folks, but try to show some love. And I like your comments, but let's not be so ugly we sound like lefties. Like, subscribe, and share to Vote to Patriots. Hope everybody's enjoying their Monday. Over and out.